Welcome to Bulls and Bears, where we look for the arbitrage opportunity in ASX-listed companies that are doing interesting things. I'm Matt Burney and I'm joined in the Bulls and Bears Perth studio by George Book, the Managing Director of ASX-listed rare earths player Northern Minerals. Good evening, George.
Good evening, Matt.
Northern Minerals have just pushed the decision button to develop the pilot stage of their Browns Range heavy rare earths mine near Halls Creek in WA. They've raised tens of millions of dollars at above market prices, in some cases at double the market price from Chinese investors that are keen to get some exposure to this rapidly developing story. Their plan is to be the only significant heavy rare earths producer outside of China within a year. The mine will churn out a basket of different rare earth minerals, with the principal and most valuable product being dysprosium. George, the market knows a bit about gold, iron ore, copper, nickel, etc., but they don't know much about dysprosium. Can you tell us what is dysprosium and what's it used for?
Yeah, dysprosium is a critical ingredient in electrical engines. So if you think about it, from wind turbines and general electrical motors, and the real centrepiece is the electrical vehicle. We've all heard about Tesla, and Tesla's really the centrepiece, but it is only a small component of the total electrical vehicles sales per annum. And it's also important to note that by 2040, the UK government is going to ban diesel and petrol vehicles, so they're pushing towards all electrical vehicles by 2040.
And there seems to have been a bit of a tectonic shift, doesn't there, from base metals such as nickel, copper and zinc to metals that are generally considered to be clean tech metals such as lithium and graphite. Do you consider that the Northern Minerals story and dysprosium are part of that clean tech story?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a centre of this entire shift towards electrification of the transportation industry. So dysprosium is really at the heart of it. And what's exciting is it's actually found in Western Australia, and we've got an outstanding project here.
And do you think in time dysprosium will be up there in terms of name recognition with those metals, lithium, graphite, cobalt, those clean tech metals?
Absolutely. At the moment, Elon Musk has done a fantastic job in getting lithium to be the centrepiece of everyone's knowledge and understanding of the electrification of new clean technology. But dysprosium's right at the heart of it, but people just aren't aware of the particular element. It's been very centrally part of the technology in China, but not known here in Australia. But we're on the cusp of it being really known and understood.
And it seems that the mining gods have smiled on you a little bit. You're about to push the button to build the first pilot stage of the Browns Range project. And I note that just in the last month or two, the dysprosium price has gone through the roof. Was that the reason for you pushing the button, or did you have some kind of vision and foresight about this?
No, look, absolutely. We always saw and understood the supply and demand side of the whole of the dysprosium market. Things weren't happening aligned with that, but we really believed that we needed to be counter-cyclical. Let's build this project during times of low price, and then when we have the production coming to market, it's going to be at a higher price. And if you look at the price of dysprosium, only a month ago it was $226 a kilo, and today it's $290 a kilo. That's a 30% increase.
Why is that? What's happened? What's changed?
Well, the main change has been that the Chinese government has finally got on top of the illegal mining activities inside of China. And illegal mining activities include those with the licences producing above their quota, as well as the cottage industry. So we've actually seen the supply side clamp down. So that's been the biggest move of the price moving north.
And apart from your deposit, China are pretty much the only source of dysprosium in the world right now, is that right?
Absolutely. All of the heavy rare earths, the dysprosium, is coming out of China. So this is going to be the first significant supply of dysprosium anywhere in the world, and it's right here in Western Australia.
So, George, the Browns Range project, about to get underway, as I said earlier. Can you tell us a bit about the project? What will it cost and what's it likely to produce?
Okay, so the Browns Range pilot plant will cost us $39 million to build. It's currently being fabricated as we speak. Construction will start on site this quarter, and we'll have that complete by the June quarter next year. We expect to produce rare earth carbonate, which includes the dysprosium, and have our first shipment out in the September quarter next year. It's a significant piece of equipment. It's a fairly reasonable sized project, and the Premier Mark McGowan was on site late July to actually turn the official first sod.
So even though you say it's a pilot plant at $39 million, I'm guessing it's not that small, right?
No, look, it's going to produce 50,000 kilos of dysprosium per year and a total of all the other rare earths of 573,000 kilos per year of rare earths.
How are you funding it? Can you tell us a bit about your various funding sources? And in particular, I'm keen to learn about the Chinese shareholders that you've brought on board. I know that the equity deal you did some months ago was way above market, which I found to be quite interesting. Can you tell us a bit about that deal for the first $20-odd million that you brought in?
Yeah, okay, so we start there. So we were trading at just close to 6 cents. We brought in a new major Chinese shareholder who took it at a 91% premium. So we raised $20 million at 13 cents. The Chinese...
And you were trading at 6 cents at the time, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. The Chinese really understand the rare earth industry. I mean, it's a centrepiece there. It's attracted a lot of jobs. It's well understood, and in many other jurisdictions, people just don't quite understand it, if you like. So they've come in. They see the future. They see the excitement about our project. We've had to couple that with a number of other style capital raisings to get this project underway. So we've got an R&D financing facility that's about to be finalised.
From the federal government? That's
right. So each year the federal government, as part of your tax returns, will refund you your eligible R&D. We're putting in place a facility where we can bring forward that cash flow into a quarterly basis by debt factoring that R&D. So that's in the final throes of being finalised, which will come out of the US. We've also got a sale prepayment of $10 million that will come in the first half of next year from our offtake partner.
And you've got the offtake 100% committed, is that correct?
That's correct. So for the pilot plant production of 3 years, we've actually got an offtake in place, and that's with a Chinese group, JF Mag. But what's important is the offtake for the full-scale operation is still open and available to everyone to come and talk to us about. So we've locked away the 100% of the offtake for the pilot plant, but for the full-scale operation, we can talk to everyone to look to engage in that process.
So why don't you tell us a bit about the full-scale operation, because that's the ultimate goal, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what that production profile looks like from the full-scale operation? How many kilos of dysprosium you think you might churn out in a full year? And just give us an idea again of the price of dysprosium.
Yeah, okay. So in terms of the ultimate goal, I think we've got a few other stages after that, but the next stage of our development as a company is to go into the full-scale operation. So we're talking about a 585,000 tonne per annum plant, and that'll produce about 3 million kilos of total rare earths, which includes about 300,000 kilos of dysprosium. Now, if you just put that in today's pricing of $300 a kilo, that's $90 million of revenue that's just going to come from dysprosium alone. Simplistically, our dysprosium makes up about 60% of our total revenue. So you're talking around the $160 million mark of revenue at today's spot price, but we don't believe today's spot price is where we see the price of dysprosium in particular in the next couple of years. So once we really understand, establish key parameters with the pilot plant, we'll get into developing the full-scale operation, which will be significant. We're talking about $500+ million MPV. We've completed a definitive feasibility study on the project, and with the inputs from the pilot plant, we'll take that to bankable feasibility and start financing that project.
And George, the global market for electric vehicles seems to be on fire like few other markets have been in the past. Tesla, as you say, have obviously put the electric vehicle market on everybody's radar, and little old Western Australia appears to be right at the centre of that clean tech boom. Do you see the electric vehicle market going forward as being a major opportunity for Western Australian miners, and in particular for Northern Minerals?
Oh, look, absolutely, Matt. If you think about it, right now, the production of electric vehicles for total sales is at 1%. So the number in 2016 hit 1 million sales. In 2025, there are forecasters, including UBS, that are talking about the total mix of EVs to total sales at 14%, or 14 million vehicles. That's extremely conservative for the next 15 years. The biggest change we're going to see is cost parity. We're about to see where people that go into the car yard are not going to buy the electric vehicle over a normal combustion engine vehicle on the basis of feel good. It's going to be about cost competitiveness, and that's going to change the dynamics, and I think the forecasters are going to get it significantly wrong. So when you look at the key inputs into an electric vehicle, and you talk about dysprosium, you talk about lithium, cobalt, graphite and all the rest of it, that's all here in Western Australia. So we've got an opportunity to use the mining, to leverage that to bring downstream processing into this state and make this a central piece. And you've only got to go back to the iron ore industry that was developed in the 60s, and we're reaping the benefits of that in 2017. I think we're at the cusp of the exact same thing, but from an electric vehicle point of view.
George Bork from Northern Minerals, thanks very much for coming into the Perth Bulls and Bears studio tonight.
Thanks, Matt.
If you'd like to learn more about Northern Minerals, their stock code is NTU and their shares are trading at around 13 cents a share. I'm Matt Burney and you've been watching Bulls and Bears TV. For more Bulls and Bears stories, go to the West Australian newspaper website at www.thewest.com.au and click the Business tab followed by the Public Companies tab.